It's the time to get down.
Right. Y'all ready to talk about some weed?
Times are a-changing, but some things stay the same. You start each morning with a cup of coffee every day. Maybe hit the snooze, turn on the local news, but nothing good comes from a one-sided point of view. Marijuana for dummies. Come for the info, stay for the reefer. Marijuana for dummies. Come for the info and stay for the reefer.
I like that. Marijuana for dummies. Come for the info, but stay for the reefer. You know, I tell myself to stop smoking 15 minutes before the broadcast, but of course it ends up more like 4 minutes before the broadcast. And then I also take a break and say I get to smoke again during the wonderful Marijuana for Dummies segment. And so here we find ourselves. And I this morning, Vic, you know, I've said this before, you probably shouldn't smoke an indica in the morning. Now, why? Because I want you guys to be able to impress your friends, even you non-smokers. You'll be able to impress your friends with your knowledge of this subject. But, you know, you tell them, you know, you have that indica in the morning, you may just want to go back to bed because it has more of the physical effects, more sedative type qualities, whereas the sativas have a cerebral effect and not as much physical. Now, me being the longtime veteran that I am, the longtime user of high-quality marijuana, my system is finely tuned like a steel drum, allowing me to partake of even the most harsh marijuana strains, the strongest marijuana strains, and still perform for you in such a fashion as I do here today. Can I have a clap?
Oh, I get it now. So what you're saying is it's kind of equating to don't wake up in the morning immediately and within a half hour have a fifth of Jack Daniels.
Yes.
Okay.
Vic breaks it. That's right, He breaks it down. You got it. Don't get up and have Jack Daniels in the morning, and don't get up and have a indica.
Right.
Unless you have a finely tuned system like mine, used to operating on high levels of marijuana with a high degree of efficiency.
There you go.
So in that case, but no, don't do it. Just say no. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
But I went to the dispensary, and now we are stocked up around here at Pax Stereo. And so it continues. Now, at Marijuana for Dummies, one of the things that we do is we resist the miseducation of marijuana, and we continue on that. One of the things that is the big talk right now, Vic, is the Federal Marijuana Justice Act, which is basically trying to find some way to roll back punishments for individuals for things like marijuana,
Right.
which is now being legalized. Let me read to you. Comprehensive marijuana reform legislation, the Marijuana Justice Act, has been introduced in both chambers of Congress by Senator Cory Booker and Representatives Barbara Lee and Ro Khanna. Barbara Lee and Ro Khanna, both from California, Democrats. Cory Booker is from New Jersey. The bill would remove marijuana from the U.S. Controlled Substances Act, thereby ending the federal criminalization of cannabis. It would also incentivize states to mitigate, and I say this carefully, to mitigate existing and ongoing racial disparities in state-level marijuana arrests. See, that's part of the problem. You've had a history of racial disparity on a statewide level. And also they're being asked to expunge federal convictions specifically to marijuana possession, okay? And allow individuals currently serving time for marijuana-related violations to petition the court for re-sentencing. Wow. So I'm all for this. This is what's happening right now.
Okay, I'm good for it, man.
Marijuana Justice Act, seeking some justice for folks who have marijuana convictions.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, and I wanted you guys to know it was out there, and also again that it was Cory Booker, who is one of the folks looking to run. I don't know, did he announce? I think he did announce.
Yeah, he's already
officially
announced. Yeah, I saw this whole story, which I thought was excellent that they had to roll back and go after this, and for those people sitting up there going, wow, such a heinous crime. And then, of course, seeing what's happening with the opioid addiction and how they're approaching that, this is kind of a no-brainer.
I am, because I've expressed my outrage many times over the issue of the current opioid addiction. Not that I don't want them to get the treatment, but because of the obvious disparity. When crack cocaine was devastating the black community, the laws that they passed were 3 strikes you're out. This current opioid addiction, which is affecting whites to a much, I said 3 muches greater degree, is getting historically advanced funding levels. They're funding the treatment of this. They're not, and they're talking about the poor victim understanding the problem,
right,
understanding the addict, which is none of the talk that we ever hear when it comes to black folks who are addicts.
Or let's just
never
say,
hear that.
Or minorities in general.
Well, minorities in general. So
yeah.
As much as I'm for the funding and all of that for the current opioid addiction, I'm still outraged at how black folks and, again, other people of color were treated, have been treated, and continue to be treated.
Yeah.
Topic number 2 of today in Marijuana for Dummies is that there's been reports coming in, especially one from the Washington State University, University of Massachusetts, and the Colorado School of Public Health, who were assessing trends in teen marijuana use and found that most teens are not using more marijuana. Interesting. Even though, we got to look at alcohol, I think they're using less of that too. But even despite the legalization efforts around, that it has not been reflected in increased use of teen marijuana use. So, bravo. We're not for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Real talk, man.
So it still goes that things are changing. The environment is changing drastically. I remind you, I'm getting ready to do traveling based upon what's available nationally and internationally for, where I can go and get weed. I want to be able to fly in somewhere not carrying weed, even though it's going to be worked out, all of that stuff. But, fly in with no weed and go buy weed.
Right. Absolutely.
The issue is, where's your medical marijuana card going to be accepted? It's a big thing that's going on in Hawaii and other states where they're looking at what states to accept the marijuana cards from. So we'll see. But it all looks good. It all looks like it's moving forward. And I'm going to take another hit of this deluxe OG.
Times are a-changing, but some things stay the same. You start each morning with a cup of coffee every day. Maybe hit the snooze